December 5, 1945. 5 military aircraft take off from Fort Lauderdale on a routine training mission. 2 hours later, the flight leader radios back something that still gives investigators chills. "We don't know where we are. We can't tell which way is west. Everything is wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." Then silence. All 5 planes vanished without a trace. But here's the part that will make your skin crawl. The rescue plane sent to find them? It disappeared too. 6 aircraft, 27 men. Gone. Forever. And that was just the beginning. What I'm about to tell you will either shatter your belief in one of the world's most famous mysteries, or convince you that there are forces in our world that science still can't explain. Because the Bermuda Triangle isn't just a story about missing ships and planes. It's a battle between human imagination and hard reality, between what we want to believe and what the evidence actually shows. But here's what's going to mess with your head. By the time this video ends, you'll discover that the truth about the Bermuda Triangle is somehow both less mysterious and more fascinating than any conspiracy theory ever invented. Welcome to my channel. What you're about to hear is the complete dismantling of one of the most persistent myths in modern history, followed by the discovery of what's actually happening in this patch of ocean that's far more incredible than any supernatural explanation. Let me start by taking you inside the legend that captivated the world. Picture a triangle of ocean stretching from Miami to Bermuda to Puerto Rico, roughly 500,000 square miles of water that allegedly swallows ships and planes like some cosmic hungry mouth. According to the stories, this area has claimed over 1,000 lives in the past 500 years. Compasses spin wildly, electronics fail mysteriously. Time itself seems to bend and warp. The tales are mesmerizing. Ships found floating empty, their crews vanished mid-meal. Planes that disappear from radar, only to reappear decades later with their pilots claiming only minutes have passed. Entire squadrons of military aircraft swallowed by clear skies. But here's where I'm going to start pulling this legend apart, thread by thread. That famous Flight 19 disappearance I mentioned? The one that started this entire myth? Let me tell you what really happened and why it's both less mysterious and more tragic than the legend suggests. Lieutenant Charles Taylor was leading 5 Grumman Avengers on a navigation training exercise called Navigation Problem Number 1. These weren't experienced pilots flying familiar routes. They were student aviators practicing with compasses and dead reckoning in an area known for tricky weather patterns. The radio transcripts tell a very different story than the mysterious version you've heard. Taylor's compass was malfunctioning, a known mechanical issue, not supernatural interference. He became convinced they were flying over the Florida Keys when they were actually over the Bahamas. Every turn he made to correct their course actually took them further out to sea. The weather was deteriorating, visibility was dropping, and fuel was running low. The last radio transmission wasn't mysterious at all. It was Taylor telling his flight to stay together as they prepared for a water landing in rough seas. The rescue plane that disappeared? It exploded shortly after takeoff, witnessed by dozens of people. A tragic but explainable accident involving a plane known for fuel vapor issues. No mystery, just a series of human errors and mechanical failures that cost 27 lives. But here's what's fascinating. This single incident, twisted and embellished over decades, became the foundation for one of the most enduring myths of the modern age. The term Bermuda Triangle didn't even exist until 1964, when a magazine writer named Vincent Gaddis coined it to sell a sensational story. Before that, this area of ocean had no special reputation whatsoever. But once the name caught on, something psychologically interesting started happening. Every incident in this region, no matter how routine or explainable, suddenly became part of the pattern. Confirmation bias kicked into overdrive. People started seeing connections where none existed, finding mysteries in perfectly normal maritime accidents. And here's the kicker that will blow your mind. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't actually have more disappearances than any other heavily traveled area of ocean. The U.S. Coast Guard Lloyd's of London, and the World Wildlife Fund have all independently analyzed maritime incident data. Want to know what they found? The Bermuda Triangle has the same statistical rate of accidents and disappearances as any other comparable stretch of ocean with similar traffic levels. The North Atlantic shipping lanes? More dangerous. The waters off Cape Horn? Far more treacherous. Even Lake Michigan has claimed more ships per square mile than the supposedly cursed Bermuda Triangle. But the data reveals something even more interesting. We've been looking at this completely backwards. Instead of asking why so many things disappear in the Bermuda Triangle, we should be asking why we think they do. And the answer reveals something profound about human psychology and our relationship with the unknown. The Bermuda Triangle myth persists because it gives us a way to impose narrative meaning on random tragedy. When a plane disappears over the ocean, it's not just mechanical failure or pilot error. It's part of a grand mystery, a supernatural puzzle that makes the victim part of something larger than mundane accident statistics. We want there to be mysteries. We need there to be places where the normal rules don't apply, where reality gets a little weird and wonderful. The Bermuda Triangle isn't really about missing ships. It's about missing wonder in our overly explained world. But here's the plot twist that makes this story even more fascinating. While the supernatural Bermuda Triangle is a myth, the actual patch of ocean it describes is genuinely one of the most remarkable places on Earth, for reasons that are far more spectacular than any conspiracy theory. This area sits at the intersection of multiple powerful ocean currents, including the Gulf Stream, which moves at up to 5.6 miles per hour and can quickly carry debris far from crash sites. The weather patterns here are notoriously unpredictable, where clear skies can turn into violent storms in minutes. The seafloor contains some of the deepest trenches in the Atlantic, including the Puerto Rico Trench, which plunges over 27,000 feet down. Deeper than Mount Everest is tall. When something sinks here, it doesn't just disappear. It falls into an alien world of crushing darkness where few humans have ever ventured. And here's something that will give you chills. This region contains massive methane hydrate deposits on the ocean floor. When these deposits destabilize, they can create sudden pockets of low-density water that could theoretically cause ships to lose buoyancy and sink rapidly. It's not supernatural. It's geology behaving in ways that seem supernatural. But the real mystery isn't what's happening in the Bermuda Triangle. It's what this myth reveals about us. We live in an age where we can track every ship by satellite, predict weather patterns weeks in advance, and explain almost every natural phenomenon with scientific precision. Yet we still crave mystery. We still want there to be places where our technology fails, where the unknown can reach out and touch us. The Bermuda Triangle myth survives because it serves a psychological need. In a world that feels increasingly mapped and measured, it preserves a corner of wonder. It's our collective agreement to leave room for the impossible in an age that's explained almost everything else. And maybe that's not entirely wrong. Because while the supernatural Bermuda Triangle is fiction, the ocean itself remains profoundly mysterious. We've explored less than 5% of our planet's waters. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the deepest parts of our own oceans. Every year, we discover new species in the deep sea that seem like they belong in science fiction. Bioluminescent creatures that create their own light, organisms that thrive in conditions that would instantly kill any surface dweller, ecosystems that exist without sunlight around volcanic vents on the ocean floor. The real mystery isn't a triangular patch of water where compasses spin wildly. The real mystery is that we live on a planet that's 71% covered by an alien world we barely understand, filled with creatures and phenomena that are genuinely stranger than any Bermuda Triangle legend. So here's what I want you to consider as we wrap this up. The Bermuda Triangle as a supernatural mystery is dead. The statistics don't support it. The incidents have rational explanations. The mystery was manufactured by writers looking to sell books and magazines. But the human need for mystery, that's alive and well. And maybe instead of inventing mysteries where none exist, we should pay attention to the real ones surrounding us every day. The ocean covers most of our planet, and we've barely scratched its surface. The deep sea contains ecosystems that might as well be alien worlds. Every time we send a submersible down into the abyss, we discover things that challenge everything we thought we knew about life itself. That's the real Bermuda Triangle, not a supernatural patch of water, but the vast unknown that surrounds us everywhere we look, if we just have the courage to look honestly. So the next time someone tells you about mysterious disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, you can tell them the truth. There's nothing mysterious about that particular patch of ocean. But the ocean itself, that's a mystery worth exploring. The legend of the Bermuda Triangle taught us that we can create mysteries out of nothing. But reality has already provided us with mysteries far more profound than anything our imagination could invent. What do you think? Are you disappointed to learn the Bermuda Triangle isn't actually mysterious? Or excited to discover that the real ocean is even more fascinating than the myth? Let me know in the comments. I promise they won't mysteriously disappear.